Hey, math friends. So our learning target today is I can solve equations with decimals. So same thing we've been doing, build house, build fence. It just has decimals in it. I highly recommend that you grab a calculator, especially for your check step here. As you can see in the notes, that calculators are allowed in today's lesson. So steps to solve, we want to simplify if needed. So for example, if we have a parenthesis with an x trapped in there, we need to distribute. If we have common terms on the same side, we would need to combine. So there's some simplified steps that we need to do first if necessary. And then after that, we're going to use inverse operations, which I always call build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. And the last step, of course, would be to plug back in and check, which we just did a lesson on of that step, those steps. So those are your three steps. Simplify if needed. Sometimes it's not needed. Inverse operations to solve, and then check. All right, so go ahead and pause the video to write this problem down. All right. And once you have it written down, you should unpause, of course. So same steps as always. We're going to build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. It's just the math is going to get a little messier. So we're going to add 9.01 to both sides. Copy, paste, to clean the yard. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. So we have R divided by 35 cents is equal to whatever that is on the right. And you can see already that a calculator might be kind of beneficial for us today. So negative 16.2 add 9.01 results in negative 7.19. So our job is to isolate the variable R. We're not quite there yet, so we're going to build a house around the R, and we're going to multiply nice and high, copy, paste, copy, paste. So we're going to multiply both sides by 35 cents. Copy, paste, copy, paste. Coolio, coolio. Okay, those cancel, as we've talked about for a long time, and we're going to multiply these out. It says to round to the nearest hundredth in your work, so that means 2 decimal places. I'll help you on the rounding as we go. So 7.19 negative multiplied by 0.35 ends up being negative 2.5165. That's what my calculator says, but it says hundredths place. So I need to round that. So that would become that R is approximately, when we round, equal to negative 2.5. This would round it up to 2. So the R value is approximately equal to negative 2.52. Now it is your job to check. I'm probably not going to do tons of checking today because the videos have gotten really long on the days that I have checked. But we're going to substitute this in for R. And when you do that, just a heads up, when that happens, the left side is not going to be perfectly equal to the right side. It's going to be back to that idea of that it's approximately equal to negative 16.2, because the minute we take this and we round it, we lose the perfection. So just know that when we do that check step, when the minute we round, we lose perfection. So be aware of that. All right, y'all. Write that problem down in the upper left-hand corner there. All right, so now we're going to start to solve. Build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. So we're going to subtract 6.4 from both sides. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. And the right-hand side, we have negative 8.48 minus 6.4 results in negative 14.88. Go ahead, pause the video, catch up if you need to. Now what's left here is a multiplication problem, so we're going to undo it. We're going to solve for x through division. Cool, cool, cool. Copy, paste, boom, nailed it. We know that this is 1. And we take 14.88 and we divide by 4.8. They're both negative, as you can see, so it's going to be positive. Type it in, type it in, type it in, and I get 3.1. I'm going to verify that by plugging this back in for x. I'm going to do that right now. I'm making sure that the left side equals the right side. And indeed, when I plugged that in, that side equals the left side equals the right side. Boom. So the answer is that x is equal to 3.1. Now I didn't have to round anything that time, so I didn't change it to like Approximately equal, I didn't make squiggly lines. It's not going to affect my answer because I didn't do any rounding. So the left side did equal the right side when I plugged in for x. Go ahead and write that next problem down on the right. Why don't you try this one from start to finish? Make sure you plug back in and check. All right, y'all, here we go. Hopefully you did what you're supposed to do, which was you're supposed to solve this and check. Build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. So we're going to add 0.5 to both sides. Cool, cool, cool. Oh my gosh, that's ugly. I need to erase that. Sorry! Ah! Oh boy. Okay, that's better. Maybe. I shouldn't talk yet until I have it solved. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. I gotta use that thicker pen, I think. Just seems to work better, doesn't it? It's kind of a conversation, but not really. All right, cool. So now I'm going to type this in my calculator. It's looking to be -3, but I'm going to verify. Yeah, I did that good. I did a good estimate on that in my head. Now, next step is to divide. Since this is multiplication, we're going to divide by that number out front called the coefficient. Divide both sides by that. You can see totally why I said you might want a calculator today, right? Final. Ooh, that's beaut. That's a beauty. Is -24. That's so exciting. So because it's so nice to plug that back in. So we're going to take that, we're going to plug that back in for x and make sure that the left side equals the right side. So I'm doing it in my calculator here. Doing it, and boom, I nailed it. When I plug that back in for x, I do get that the left side equals -3.5. So the left side equals the right side. Got it. Sweet. All right, y'all. Problem on the left. Try it. Pause video, try it. Okay, looks like we have 3 left, maybe-ish, something like that. Here we go. Build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. You were supposed to try it. Did you actually pause the video? Huh? Did you? If I haven't used it, drag it down, Coolio. All right. Right-hand side is 152. I'm trying to use my cell phone. I don't know why I don't use the calculator that's sitting right here. 152 minus $61.41 is 90.59. Cool. Next step is to get the F alone through division. Copy, paste, copy, paste. We're still going to round to the nearest hundredth if we need to, so we'll see what happens here. Oh yeah, do we ever. So if I write out a couple digits here, I guess I'll just keep writing what my calculator says. I'm going to ask you to round to the nearest hundredth because that's what the first screen said. So we're going to cut it off right here, tenths, hundredths. The minute I do that, I start to approximate, which becomes 38.0. And this is just a 3. 5 and over is when we round up, but it's a 3, so I'm not going to change that at all. So final answer here is the blue highlight. Apparently, it doesn't want me to use the big highlight. Is 38.06. So we would plug that back in and make sure that the left side equals the right side. Now note, when you plug it back into the left side, it is not going to be perfectly equal to the right side. It will be close because we approximated it. It was about equal to that. FYI. All right, you guys, pause video and let's try this one. Ooh, I kind of lost my numerator there. Build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. Be really careful on that sign out front. That's kind of a biggie. So build a house around that sign too. Remember the jersey that we talked about? Build a house around that sign. All right, here we go. Move the 2 out of the yard. We're going to subtract. Copy, paste, copy, paste. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. So we're left with negative. I'm going to erase that because that is hard to see. That would be negative 4.5. Be super duper careful about this next step. Recognizing that there's a 1 coefficient sitting here. So we're going to kill the denominator first, which I love to do. So I'm going to multiply nice and high, copy, paste, copy, paste. Just kill that denominator. If I haven't used it, drag it down. That's still sitting there. in the right-hand side is negative 4.5 times 3 is negative 13.5. Next step is to divide. Divide both sides by negative 1. So we get x is equal to positive 13.5. Perfection. I didn't round it, so it should be exactly equal to that. So when we plug back into our calculator, into this equation, that the left side, when I type it in the calculator, should equal exactly negative 2.5. And the last problem of the day is this you try. I want you to actually try it, okay? So pause the video, try it. Grab your calculator, make sure you're in good shape. All right, you should have tried this problem. Let's see how you did. Hopefully you plugged it back in to check as well. Build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. We're going to add 12.08 to both sides. Copy, paste, copy, paste. If I haven't used it, drag it down, drag it down. On the right-hand side, I need that calculator on this one. Eek. Negative 30.2 plus 12.08 is negative 18.12. Okay. Wonder if I can move this a little bit. All right. Last step of the day, besides our check. We're going to multiply nice and high, copy, paste to kill that division, right? Both sides. Don't forget to multiply. It's multiplication happening. Be careful that you're not like subtracting or something. And we get negative 97.848. So the very last step before we check would be to cut that off here. So m is approximately equal to negative 97.8. This rounds up 8.5. So with that said then, when you go to plug this in to the equation, the left side is not going to perfectly equal the right side because we rounded it. So it became approximately equal to, but it should be kind of close to that when we plug back in. So that is your learning target, is I can solve equations using decimals. It's just build house, build fence, clean yard, clean yard. It's a lesson really hard to do in your head. So if you're a kid that has been doing a lot of your equations in your head, now you kind of have to have a strategy. So you might need to backtrack and make sure you know how to do that and you know how to check. And what happens if it's not perfect when you check? You know, be prepared that the minute you round, it's not going to be perfect. Have a glorious night.